Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the, 250th edition of China Now. So happy to have you aboard today, and looking forward to a great show. Had a little technical difficulties, but we worked our way through, and now we're off to the races. This is, as I said, the 250th edition of China Now with your gang of two. Nan Su, who is the senior investigative reporter for Epoch Times, and yours truly, Michael Olson, who was dissuaded from being a China hand by the great helmsman himself, Mao Zedong. So each week, Nan Su and I look across the broad expanse of the Pacific Ocean from our home port here at SantaCruzVoice.com, and we ask, China Now, friend or foe, war or peace? Ni hao, Nan Su.
Pretty good, Michael.
Well, here we go. Nan Su, a little preface here to the show, as if sailing into a South China Sea typhoon, and I have done that once. We are finding that the rumors of change are blowing ever stronger for the Chinese Communist Party. And in China, rumors not only pretend a possible change, rumors can actually make a change. Given all the rumors now in the air, with no objective press to verify their veracity, we simply must ask, who or what will rule the Chinese Communist Party after October's 4th plenum? That is the question on the table for hour number 2 of China Now, so please stay tuned for that hour. Should be a lot of fun. Also today, very special event because we have the capability of fielding your phone calls. All you have to do is pick up your phone today and dial 831-265-5050, 831-265-5050. Very curious to know what you have to think about our relationship with China as we speak. What do you think? China Now, friend or foe, war or peace? Well, we have a whole bunch of very interesting news items, Nan Su. We have a whole bunch of them. I guess we could just kick them off and get going. Have you have your list there?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess what I'll do is I'll start off with my item, which is the Chinese Communist Party's World War II Memorial Victory Parade. Now, we've been talking about this for quite some time. China will stage a massive military parade September 3 in Beijing to commemorate 80 years since the end of World War II, following Japan's surrender, mobilizing tens of thousands of people and showcasing weapons never before seen. So it's going to be quite a show with all those people. There'll be hundreds of aircraft, including fighter jets and bombers, as well as high-tech armaments such as precision strike weapons capable of traveling 5 times the speed of sound. And they'll be featured there. If you can see them, it might go by pretty fast. The roughly 70-minute Victory Day parade on September 3rd, comprising 45 formations of troops, will be surveyed, it says, by President Xi Jinping at Tiananmen Square, alongside a number of foreign leaders, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, who also attended the 2015 parade. However, there's one very interesting naysayer that showed up on the scene, and that's Taiwan, because Taiwan is disputing the Chinese Communist Party's claim of victory in World War II, saying that the CCP did not contribute much of anything to that victory over World War II enemy Japan, and they should not be claiming a Victory Day parade now. What do you think of that, Nan Su?
It's true. The truth is that the Chinese Communist Party, they are the ones actually take advantage of the Japanese invasion of World War II. So in 1972, that's after Nixon. Nixon had idea of making China a good friend of the United States. So 71, Nixon went to China in 1972. Japanese Prime Minister visited Beijing and met with Chairman Mao. Now, the first thing when they met was the Japanese Prime Minister actually make an apology to Chairman Mao to apologize to the invasion of World War II, during World War II, of a Japanese invasion of China. And you know what Chairman Mao said? Chairman Mao thanked them. Chairman Mao put a big smile on his face, and that's what he said. And he repeated later many times when Japanese leaders visited Beijing. Chairman Mao said, "Thank you for invading China. If Japan did not invade China, then there is no chance the Communist Party will take over of China in 1949." That Japanese invasion of World War II of China that caused like 107,000 of deaths in China, and Chairman Mao personally thanked Japanese Prime Minister when the Japanese Prime Minister was making apology for what happened in World War II, and Chairman Mao thanked Japanese Prime Minister for the Japanese invasion of China in World War II.
That's one of
this is the fact.
That's one of the big ironies of history, isn't it?
That's it. Now, Japanese 1930. Actually, Japanese invasion started in 1931, but that's partial invasion of China in mainly the northern tip of China. The full-blown Sino-Japanese War started in 1937. When Japanese military start attacking Beijing. Now, the name of Beijing at that time, it was named Beiping. Now, when that started the full-blown Japanese invasion. Now, from 1937 to 1945, that 8 years, okay, pretty much, the CCP military didn't do anything. They do a small fight. They do very small fight, like a militia type of, like a jungle war. A very small scale fight.
Guerrilla warfare up in the mountains and hit and run kind of things.
Right. Hit and run, that kind of thing. And maybe, a dig couple holes on the road, or maybe disassemble some railroads at certain portion. That's what they have done.
Basically, they were living up in the mountains in caves, weren't they?
Oh, no. They are going after the backside of Japan's Japanese occupied territory, because Japan, they basically occupy all the big cities and the major transportation places. That's their war is about. Now and then, but they left a lot of countryside without any, military presence. So what the communists have done is they will go to those places. They will kill the landlords, and then they will give the landlords the land to the farmers. And then tell farmers, hey, you better fight for us. So otherwise, either Japanese or the rich landlords, they are supported by the KMT, that's Taiwan's government. Right now at that time it's the KMT power government. KMT government support the landlords. They will come back to take the land back. So they're just doing all that. They are very busy to grow their own military. So that's all they're doing. And then in 1937, a Chinese Communist Party in China, they are the they have about 60,000 military troops. By the time 1945, the end of World War II, you know how much troops they have?
No.
Chinese communist regime at the end of World War II, they didn't fight. Okay, they didn't fight. They have 1.2 million troops plus 2 million militia force. While at the same time, in that 8 years, the KMT government, the government later lost the civil war and went to Taiwan. That government, KMT government, during the 8 years, they lost more than 3.4 million troops to Japan, and more than 210 generals died during, not a general, like when I say general, them including the lieutenant general,
right.
Major general, that level of military official. Total about 210 die. That's how much you suffer, and that's how much fight they gave, to help the airline side to win the war. Against Japan.
Yeah. So during World War II in China, the brunt of the battle, the brunt of the fight against Japan, was fought by the Kuomintang, which is now in Taiwan. Chiang Kai-shek took them all to Taiwan. It lost, the KMT, the Kuomintang, lost 3 million soldiers, whereas the
3.4 million troops and more than 210 generals died. So, while at the same time, the Chinese government, they didn't, the communist government at that time, they didn't do any large scale fight. And then they are just busy there, to kill the landlords in the countryside and distribute the land to the farmers, and so the farmers will fight for them. They are very busy, and they have to now. This is another joke. This is not joke, but this is how joke the communist regime is during World War II. Now they have these huge troops, from 60,000 jump up to 1.2 million troops and 2 million militia force. They need the money to support these troops, right?
Yeah. A lot of mouths to feed.
That's a lot of money, right? They don't have big cities. They don't have. All they have is the farmers, so that they don't. How they found the money to support their troops?
By selling food that the farmers grew.
No. You're too naive, man. That's why the
Where did they get the money?
Who CCP is?
Where did the CCP get the money to feed all those hungry soldiers?
They sold opiums.
Ah.
That's widely reported.
I've not heard that before.
Even by the communist regime's own magazines. There were a few magazines between 2000 after China joined WTO. They enjoy a period of time of certain level of freedom of press. So they reported, many media reported during that period, somewhere between 2001 and 2012, before the Xi Jinping take his power. Now, they visited many of those World War II veterans, ask them how do they, what are they doing? They say, well, they are doing all they do is they're trying to produce the opiums, and then they will sell the opiums in the Japanese occupied region or the KMT government's, controlled regions, make money so they can grow their military.
Just
You know
like
how you know Xi Jinping is the biggest seller of fentanyl to Americans, killing hundreds or tens of thousands of young Americans every year.
So
and
that's where
all from Chairman Mao.
So that's where he learned
from
it.
Chairman Mao.
Yeah.
That's all they did during World War II.
Sell opium, make a lot of money, build an army. So then I now understand why the CCP is having this giant World War II victory parade. Because
want to, because this basically will transfer their public image from a drug dealers group. They are the drug cartel.
The drug dealers. From being a drug dealer,
dealers. They want to change their image, their public image, to become a hero of World War II. That's why they put up this September 3rd military parade to show the war. They want. It's all brainwash.
Well, and it's a spectacular effort to brainwash in order to position how the world sees you. If you folks out there have never had the opportunity to see videos of these military parades put on in Beijing by the CCP, they're absolutely spectacular. Not only for the number of things that you can see, but for how incredibly well choreographed the marching is. Absolutely spectacular. And awesome and fearsome to see how incredibly articulate these parades are. Now, when you see these parades, you have to realize and keep in mind that the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, and Navy and Air Force and Rocket Force and so on, is not a function of the nation of China. It is a function of the Chinese Communist Party. And it's aimed not only the guns that this PLA has, is not only aimed outward to people like you and I, but also inward to all of the people, the residents, the inmates of the CCP. And so it's an awesome display of force. So be sure and tune in if you want to get the bleep scared out of you, because that's what it's all about. So now, thanks to Nansu, I understand what the CCP is celebrating in its World War II victory parade. Had it not been for the Japanese invasion of China, there would be no CCP, or very little likelihood of one. Is that a fair summation, Nansu?
That's it. And that's why, Chairman Mao, openly appreciate the Japanese invasion of China. And he keep doing that for many times. And he doesn't care, he has no shame.
And
that's the way it is.
How did the
Japanese is about?
Yeah. We won. You lost. Too bad. There it is. Well, okay. Now, our next item on the agenda is very interesting, because after 25 days of hiding out, Xi Jinping did something. What did he do, Nansu?
Oh, he went to Tibet. He showed up in the Tibet, and I think he's trying to show that he's strong, his health has no problem. Think about it. He's 72 years old, and he went to Tibet. He went to Tibet's, that's the elevation 10,000 feet. Uh-huh. That's the elevation 10,000 feet, and then, most of the people, if you have problems, health problems, especially if you are fat, like Xi Jinping, if you have a blood issue, you have a heart issue, you have a high blood pressure issue, and also if Xi Jinping based on many rumors around, he suffered a minor stroke before,
right?
And it's a huge risk for him to even show up on the elevation, and he did.
He did.
He did. So I think he's trying to show his muscle, that show his health. He's able to rule China another 10 years. I think because in the coming fourth plenary meeting, most likely they're going to talk about who is going to in 2027 when the next communist regime's national conference comes in 2027, probably October of 2027, or maybe November of 2027. So the next the meeting of this October fourth plenary, they're probably going to decide who is going to be the next generation leader in 2027, the CCP's national conference. So I think Xi Jinping is preparing for another term.
I know I would bet so too. I don't know, but I would bet he is, because that's what he's gunning for, obviously. And what I saw from the video of him in Tibet, they flew in and they had a bunch of people all dressed in colorful costumes right outside the airplane. They never did show him walking down the stairs of the airplane. It was interesting. Usually that's what they do. They show a leader waving from the top of the stairs and walking down and greeting people, but they didn't show that. They just started with him on the deck, meeting the dignitaries, and walking slowly along the parade ground, waving to the people on both sides of him who were, putting on a show for him. But he did not look good in any respects. His face was very puffy. And his walking was very slow, as I suppose it should be when you're parading in front of a bunch of people. But he did not look good. And part of the rumors we're going to discuss down the ways here a little bit is the rumors of his health that have been ricocheting around Beijing and everywhere. So maybe he will make it to 2027, but there are those who don't want him to. And his health will be one of those factors that everybody will be discussing, I suppose. And you think he's going for it? And I do too. Will he be able to get there? We'll see in a very short period of time, because that's what's coming up shortly is the big test at the fourth plenum. We'll see how things shape out for him. We do have some time left here. So how much time do we have? Plenty of time left. So there's also news about China's shipbuilding capabilities, which factors into the next two stories. I have a story about shipbuilding. Nan Su has a great story about a giant submarine drone that China is manufacturing. So as we go through these stories, think about the impact of having a huge Navy in that relatively small body of the South China Sea. And what that is going to look like by 2027, which is when Xi Jinping plans to, or has announced that he is intending to invade Taiwan. So this from Business Insider. 2 of China's state-owned shipbuilding groups are finalizing a major merger. Last week, trading in shares of China State Shipbuilding Corporation and China Shipbuilding Industry Corporation was suspended as China State Shipbuilding Corporation moves to absorb China Shipbuilding Industry Corporation. Well, there you go. Two state-owned enterprises gobbling up one another. Now, China State Shipbuilding Corporation is China's and the world's largest shipbuilding group. Listen to this. It built more commercial vessels by tonnage in the year 2024 than the entire U.S. shipbuilding industry has built since the end of World War II. That is scary. So, according to Epoch Times, in April, Trump tried to address this situation by announcing that ships built or operated by Chinese firms would soon face steep new port fees when they came to the United States. Go ahead and build all the ships you want. Going to cost you a lot of money when you show up in one of our ports. The port fees were designed to pressure global shipping companies to turn away from Chinese yards. Buyers who order from American shipbuilders, of course, will be exempt. But later in the month, the Trump administration eased the proposed port fees under pressure by, well, just about everybody, I suspect. Nevertheless, the proposal appears to have shifted the market. South Korea's share of new ship orders jumped from 17% last year to 25% in the first half of this year. And China's share dropped from 72% all the way down to 52%. And Chinese shipyards saw a 68% plunge in new contracts over the same period. So people are going, I'm not so certain I want to have my ship built in a Chinese shipyard. Now you might want to ask, how is it that China can gobble up such a huge share of the world's shipbuilding? Well, it might be because they can do it more efficiently than anybody else, but probably because the Chinese Communist Party funds them to do it. So the government, doesn't matter what it costs you, will subsidize you so that you can sell them cheaper than anybody else. That's exactly what they've done with electric vehicles, solar panels, you name it. That's how they pick an industry and take it over by funding it from money from the Chinese Communist Party. And where does Chinese Communist Party get its money? From you and I, of course. All those trinkets that we buy, made in China. So that's the story. Think of the impact of having the world's largest shipbuilding company that can put out ships so quickly it can fill up the entire South China Sea with ships. Will there be any room left on the South China Sea for ships of other nations? I don't know. And Nansu, you have an incredible story about an extra large submarine drones.
Yeah, China reportedly building the largest, they call extra largest uncrewed, meaning unmanned, driverless, underwater vehicle. So basically, that's a unmanned submarine, and then it's about 18 to 20 meters in length, which is, transferred to English system is about 60 to 70 feet in length.
Wow!
If you erect them vertically, that's about like a 7 to 8 story in high. It's 8 story in high. Yeah, so 8 story, 8 foot, each story is 8 foot, that's about 64 feet, right? So they're about their length. So, and then it's nuclear powered. Now think about this. If you can build a nuclear powered unmanned, there's no, driverless submarine. Basically, that submarine can be sent to anywhere in the world. It can hide there forever because of what? Because there's no human beings over there to manipulate, to drive that, to handle the operation of that submarine. They will hide there for centuries. They literally, because once they reach the destination, they can turn off everything. They will just stay there for decades, even centuries, because there's nothing they're going to they need to make it stay there.
They can
and then by the time they need it, it could just all of a sudden emerge and make an attack. That's what they are doing. That's what they are building. And that's why they have the entire shipbuilding industry to support. They are preparing a war. And Trump administration's port fee that's charged to the Chinese ship, it's too low. It's really, really not enough. And Americans are still living in their wishful thinking. That's why they are against Trump port fees charged on the China-built ships. It's too slow. It's not enough. But however, we hear all this noise for American shipbuilding industry or transportation industry. They want the Chinese ship.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Because and they want the Chinese.
They're still living in their wishful thinking dreams.
Panda love. They're still in panda love, absolutely. And they want it because the Chinese can build it cheaper and quicker. And the reason they can build it cheaper and quicker is not because they're better shipbuilders. It's because they're getting funded by the Chinese Communist Party. And that's why
you can just go to South Korea, go to Japan, order the ship over there. Instead, these people still want the ship built in China, and they just save a couple bucks, which in the future we may have to pay tens of thousands for life for that little money that they saved.
And just as Nansu gave this incredible description of this drone submarine that can go anywhere and lay in wait forever or for extremely long periods of time, and then arise out of the murk and attack. And who knows what it will attack and where it will attack. It can be anywhere. So this is a major technological leap in seagoing weaponry. And it will be on display September 3rd at the World War II military parade in Beijing. So if you want to get a glimpse at how grim the future might be, give a look at that. Wow. Now, I know we're doing the same thing. I've been following our efforts to do the same thing. But
our underwater unmanned submarine vehicles has been keep failing because we don't build anything anymore.
That's right.
We literally deindustrialized the United States. Think about that, just because we have the pendulum. I mean, even you deindustrialize United States, you don't have to go to China. You can go to our airlines. You can go to Japan, Taiwan, or maybe the Philippines. It's even a better place than China, right? Why
Yes.
we have to go to China to build anything?
Because they have a snookered, Nansu. China did such a wonderful...
They have a panda because they have a panda.
They sent us pandas, and that was the end of us. We couldn't compete with pandas. And we think that by buying made in China, first of all, of course, we need to get rid of all of our dirty industry. And what better way of getting rid of our dirty industry than send it to China? They don't care if it's dirty or not. Smells like money to them. And so they'll be happy to take our dirty industry and all of our jobs. And they did. We gave China our industry. And we gave China our money. And that's the fix we're in now. We're facing the world's biggest navy, whose stated objective is to supplant us in the new world order. Now, they said it themselves. They said it themselves. And they believe it. And that's why they're building this incredible military. Folks, gotta watch video from that military parade that's coming up. And what you'll see is a military that's dedicated to fighting and winning. And you will see brand new equipment and brand new uniforms. And you will see sparkling young warriors, male and female, fit as you can possibly believe, clean shaven. I'll bet you won't even see a tattoo. And that's what they are going to put on the world stage. And the big question about that parade, as Nansu and I have been talking for quite some time, is who will be reviewing the troops. That, to me, is the major reason to watch. Because whoever is reviewing the troops will be the leader of China. That a fair assessment, Nansu?
Well, I think Americans need to wake up to the threat. It's the threat, the biggest threat ever in entire human history.
And that's why
we don't realize that, we'll be doomed.
And that's why it's a very good reason for everybody to catch some of the video, to look at the intent in the eyes of those being featured. And you'll see what Nansu says is true. So there it is. And that is the big parade. Nansu, I've heard that it's been on Xi Jinping's calendar for 20 years. So he's been planning this one for 20 years.
Well, Xi Jinping had his first military parade, 2015, at 60 years anniversary of World War II winning. They didn't do anything, but they are there just to take credit. Before Xi Jinping, the communist leaders in Beijing didn't have any celebration of World War II winning. They only celebrate the anniversary of their taking over China. That's like a anniversary of 1949. Usually it's every 10 years, a big parade. So when it comes to 59, 69, 79, 89, those are the years they will have a big military parade to celebrate their taking over China. Now and the reason they never the leaders that before Xi Jinping never do the World War II military parade celebration is because they knew they didn't do anything. They kind of like they get them like feel shame to do that. and now you have Xi Jinping, who is shameless, to try
Sure.
to use a big parade to. They spend tremendous money. There's
Huge amounts of money. You know what it was like?
yeah, it was generally reported. It's not complete statistic. There was a Radio Free China, U.S. radio station. They reported after 2015 military parade in Beijing, estimated about 215 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Huge amount of money.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. It's 21.5 billion.
That's a big difference.
Chinese yen. Yeah, it's 20. It's 21.5 billion, and that's how much they spend.
Well, Nansu.
I try to to translate
Nansu,
from Chinese to English.
Yeah. Just a sec.
Now this year they're going to start. They are going to spend at least the double of their money. We already have the estimate. Why? Because in 2015, they see when they mobilize the people to join for the security, they pay them like $100 a day, and this year they pay $200 a day. So
okay, we're going to have to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost the top of the hour, which means we're going to have news. But when we come back, we're going to take on rumors of the day. We had news of the day, which is pretty amazing, but wait till you hear the rumors that are going on are in and around China. It's leadership, it's military, and everything. It's kind of also scary. Now, the interesting thing about rumors is that they're just rumors, but they're more than that. Rumors can pretend the things that are going to happen, and they actually make them happen. So don't go away. Stay tuned for next hour. And here we go. This is China Now. Michael, Olson, Nansu, and you. It's got to be fun, so don't go away. We will be right back after these top-of-the-hour news. And, hey, you can join us, 831-265-5050. Join us then. All right.